Hello. What is up, everybody? We are back in the old BlizzCon 2014. We had an amazing time. If you guys that went, I hope you did too. And if you got to stay home and watch the virtual ticket, I hope that it was just as much fun, but probably not as much fun as we had. But we'll get to that in just a few minutes. This is episode number 39 of The Edge. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat room. Hello, everyone watching our VODs on the old YouTubes. My name is Sean Clark, otherwise known as Valise around Azeroth, and coming up on tonight's show, we got some good old BlizzCon depression. You know, it's like you're there and life is good, and now you're here, and now it's just regular life again. It's just not so good. It's not for me. Well, I mean, it's good. I don't want to say that. It sounds like it makes it sound like my life is terrible. My life's not terrible, by the way. I love my life. Okay, but as always, we're going to bring in first the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Mr. Matt Lowe. What's up, Matt? You got some really big news. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on, don't you?
I do. It was an interesting weekend for me, actually. Probably one of the bigger, better, badder-ass BlizzCons that I've been to over the years. I'm a little exhausted, though, as always. It took me 2 days to recover because I came back home in Vancouver on Sunday. And even now, I'm still a little winded. And I'm like, you know, I don't remember it taking this long for me to kind of get back to my old self and not feel as depleted energy-wise. Is this a sign of getting old? Is this what happens when you get old? Like,
yes.
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
I guess Will would know more what I would.
Will immediately like, yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Damn. Shots fired.
But yeah, like a lot of new games and stuff. We'll get into our thoughts about those in a little bit. So not as much Warcrafty stuff this week. Sorry, guys, but you'll find out why in a bit. But for me, you know, it's always great to see my guildies and my other friends from around the community. You know, talk to a couple of the community managers, talk to some of the people around the community, re-met this Sean guy again, and Katie. That was always great. Mm-hmm. My guild, 15 players strong this year, give or take, in terms of representation, which is pretty decent sized. Pretty decent show this year.
Nice.
For all you guys out there, even if you don't get BlizzCon tickets, you should still find a way to come out because, you know, you got one half of the reason for coming out is BlizzCon, but the other half is all the parties and stuff that go on after BlizzCon. And you can always follow along with a virtual ticket in your room anyways and just kind of keep up with the action and all that stuff. So, I also did a little minor side project. No one really knew about it because I couldn't really talk about it, but I wrote this little Brady Games strategy guide for Warlords of Draenor. Oh, yeah. I didn't write the whole thing, but I just kind of contributed the pre-section. So, you know, if you want something kind of cool that community members did, it was me and Matt Rossi and Stickney worked on it. A couple of the more prominent members around the WoW community, we all got together and worked on the upcoming Warlords of Draenor strategy guide. So if you do pick it up, you know, we hope you enjoy it. We hope you like it. Just a disclaimer, the information in there will probably be outdated after about 2 months when a couple patches and all that stuff gets thrown in. Just so you know.
Evan's going to be like, Matt, you idiot.
I know, right? It's like, what the heck, Matt? You told us to go stack haste. Well, yeah, I did, but now they kind of changed the way the stat priorities worked, and I can't really go back and change the print version of it. Sorry, man.
That's a really big deal, though. I mean, technically, now you're a published author. I mean, that's...
Right? It's totally cool. Like, I have an actual book thing-ish now.
And it looks really good in Blizzard sides, so that's also a huge plus.
Moving on up in the world.
Nice. Will did not go to BlizzCon.
New.
So what was your what was BlizzCon weekend like for you, Will?
Just basically sitting and watching the virtual ticket pretty much all day.
Nice.
Pretty much all day. And playing Farm Simulator. I kid you not.
Dude, you're really into
that. That's another day. No, I just watched the stream and would go back and forth between different channels and catch up with the panels. A lot of interesting stuff that happens sometimes is the like direct TV coverage of the virtual ticket. They'll have interviews with people in between panels and whatnot, and you do get a little bit extra tidbits out of those things. So kind of like seeing some of that. But yeah, obviously I didn't get that whole geek community service, community moment type thing, but I did actually get one today at lunch, which was really funny. I was wearing this shirt that I have, which is like a Save the Murloc shirt, and someone was like, "Oh, that's an awesome t-shirt. Do you play? And then like for 5 minutes, this lady was talking to me about Blizzard games and stuff, and I was like, wow, it's like that whole like being proud to be a geek and being, you know, out there in the community, and I don't know, it was really kind of neat moment for me, at least. Nice. I'm sure you guys had like a million of those at BlizzCon because, you know, you guys are famous. And
we get used to it after a while. Like, even Sean here had people come up to him, you know, here and there. I'm like, attaboy, Sean, there you go.
I'm moving up in the world, everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm kind of with Matt. I'm still trying to catch up on sleep. Still super tired from BlizzCon. It was amazing, though. This year was really special for me. I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of Blizzard employees, a lot of fans of the podcast, and, of course, sharing that experience with close friends of mine. So it was a really, really good BlizzCon for me this year. If you've never been, obviously I highly recommend it. It's one of those things you need to do at least once, if not over and over and over again. So definitely start saving now, because, believe it or not, tickets will be right around the corner if and when they announce for next year. Just real quick, too, just wanted to kind of mention that obviously you see that Katie isn't here. She is working tonight, so I didn't have a chance to put a funny thing up there because I have too many other things going on my end right now. But she will be here next week, but unfortunately her boss is a meanie poo-poo head. Makes her work. So she will not be inputting, but she'll probably be in the chat room harassing us at some point. Also, one more thing I want to mention real quick for you guys out here in the chat room that'll hear it first. I also picked up some really cool stuff at BlizzCon. Even some BlizzCon exclusive swag, which I'm not going to say what it quite is yet, but we will be giving them away very soon. So you want to tune in over the next couple of weeks. Follow us on Twitter, especially the specific name accounts. I'll get to you, sir. And then our podcast stuff as well, @BlizzProTV, so you can get more info. Yes, Matt?
Can we get BlizzCon swag from you too?
What do you mean?
Well, can we get it from you too? You're giving away stuff. We get stuff too, don't we?
No, you don't get stuff.
Damn.
You get the pleasure of hanging out with me every week. That's what you get.
What a ripoff.
I think I'd trade for the swag.
Oh, come on, man. Ouch.
Damn.
So to kind of get into this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. I guess I should have updated the overlay now that I think about it, because we're going to be talking about pretty much everything that was at BlizzCon. It's a big kind of a BlizzCon roundup, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But the first thing we're going to talk about, I really have to burp. There we go. The first thing is, I'm drinking this wine, man. I'm sorry. That we want to talk about, obviously something we're all super excited about, which is Overwatch. Overwatch was announced this year at BlizzCon. It's Blizzard's first independent title in 17 years, which is a really awesome, another reason why this BlizzCon was so special. So we'll kick it off with Matt. Matt, Overwatch opinions, feedback, initial thoughts.
Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I actually have a first impressions Overwatch post coming up on the Overwatch Blizz Pro site tomorrow, and I'll make sure it gets tweeted out first thing in the morning when it does go live, so it'll have a bit more detail and on my thoughts about it. But I can tell you, I got a chance to play several of the heroes. I played Widowmaker, Reinhardt the tank, Pharah and Tracer, both of them offensive heroes. All of them are fun to play in their own unique way. You know, like Widowmaker, she's a sniper. I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike back in the day, so I sympathize with her because I was the one that always used that op. You know, the one-shot kill sniper rifle that would really piss off most people. And I was pretty damn good at it. Now, not so much. I'm a little bit older, so my reflexes are a touch slower.
Old man.
Yeah, I know, right? Reinhardt, the dude wields a huge, like, two-handed mace, and he can go zipping across and pinning people against walls. That dude is fun because there's nothing quite as satisfying as just plowing into two people up against like a car or something and just wailing away with your weapon there. Pharah, this one actually inspired me from my old days of Unreal Tournament when I would favor the rocket launcher. And she's like a Gundam, sort of like she's in a Gundam suit and just kind of flies around the map a bit and just unloads rockets wherever she goes. And obviously there's always the iconic Tracer, who appears to be the, I don't want to say flagship, but like kind of like the main focus hero, I guess, behind Overwatch. She's definitely one of the highlights. And her abilities included, you know, like blinking in and time warping herself back out to where she was a couple of seconds ago to kind of evade and survive counterattacks and that sort of thing. Like I said, all of them fun heroes to play. I didn't get a chance to play all of them, but the ones I did play, I think I stood in line for I must have gone through like 3 or 4 times just trying out different heroes and stuff. So what's interesting is that Valve made their own variation of Dota 2 of Dota with Dota 2, which was originally a mod on Warcraft 3. Now we got Blizzard taking a page out of Valve's TF2 playbook with Overwatch. So it's kind of neat to see how this kind of these genres and these games are sort of inspiring these companies here to kind of spin their own take on these titles. Yeah. Well, my favorite. 3. Right. Well, I mean, in a way, yeah. So, I mean, Half-Life 3 announcement, guys. I don't know, right? So, my favorite hero is probably Widowmaker. Did I say Voidwalker earlier? I hope I didn't say Voidwalker.
If you did, that's really funny.
I'm pretty sure I said Widowmaker, but I don't know if I said Voidwalker now. Yeah, like I've always preferred quarterbacking plays, but I kind of need to play around with the mouse sensitivity a bit. I kind of overshot my marks a couple of times. I'd always aim a bit more to the side than I meant to. Yeah. So that's my take. Yeah, I know. That's my take on Overwatch. So I'm looking so forward to this game because I kind of miss shooters, and I'm getting a little bit tired of the whole Call of Duty, Battlefield, all that stuff. So it's nice to see something a little bit more optimistic. With that, I think that's a word that would kind of describe the overall atmosphere of the game. It's very bright, very cartoony, very optimistic outlook. What do you think?
Do you think it's going to end up being a game that's like very broad reach, like you got the people who play first-person shooters who are all into Call of Duties and all that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. Do you think it's going to be like spread over different age groups kind of thing, or I don't know?
I think it's got some broad appeal here. Blizzard has a great track record of trying to make things as appealing, not just to the hardcore gamers, but to the casual fans. Like one of their ethoses, I suppose, has always been easy to learn, hard to master, and Overwatch is one of those games where it really kind of speaks to that mindset. So I can certainly see that happening here.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Will, what's your take on this? Like, I mean, we went to BlizzCon, we got a hands-on experience, but how about someone that didn't get a hands-on experience that got to experience this with a virtual ticket? Like, what was your initial reaction, and did you watch any of the panels about Overwatch?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I watched pretty much all the coverage that I could on it, and all the interviews in between and stuff. And I was, at first reaction was like, oh wow, they're really going after that market. And I'm like it gave me a little bit of chill kind of thing. I mean, don't want to get too overstating this, but it was kind of like, oh wow, they're going after that. I can't believe that. So, and as they kept talking about it, I kept thinking, okay, this is going to be a first-person shooter. Probably not gonna like it because twitchy games, getting old. Insert the old man joke again here, whatever. But like I kept thinking because then they were talking about what was I playing? I played some 4-player game, 4-on-4 game, and like they were talking about the perfect size for the groups is 6 versus 6 right now. You felt like you could have an effect on the group. Or if you were just having a bad day, it wasn't that big of a deal type thing. And I felt in that 4-on-4 game that I was playing, it was like my friends were trying to get me into it, and I was like, yeah, sorry guys, I'm just not getting this. And we were losing every game, and it was no fun.
Because you're basically 25% of the force right there, and if you go down, you're team at a disadvantage. Yeah.
Right.
And like the inverse they said was, if it was 8-on-8, you're not really making much of an impact.
Yeah, totally. So hopefully that turns out well, and obviously they can change that at some point if they want to. Who cares? But as they kept talking about little points like that, the 6 versus 6, the support classes, all this other stuff, I'm like, I could probably get into this thing. I could probably mess around. Yeah. Like it grew as I kept looking at all the coverage. So yeah, I'm really excited about it as well, and can't wait to find out more info.
Awesome.
Dig for some info.
I mean, obviously, I'm super excited about Overwatch. I played it 6 times in 2 days, which is obviously saying something. For
6 times? That's
times.
It?
Hey, you only played it like 4 times.
Whatever.
How much time did you get per round?
It was 10 minutes each, so 1 offense, 1 defense.
Yeah, but they would make sure that you get 2 rounds. Right. 1 is attacking and 1 is defending.
Right, so 10 each.
Guys. Yeah.
Tracer was by far my favorite character. I did play every single character that was available at that demo. Now, I did talk to some of the developers after the fact, and I was kind of talking to them a little bit about the gameplay, and I said, hey, this feels this way and this feels that way, and the balancing, and they said, for example, I used Tracer. I said, listen, I understand that Tracer's an up close and personal kind of character. You need to she's very bursty. You come in, do your damage, and leave. And I said, but I felt like she's super, super weak. And the guy says, hey, listen, did you have Angel or Torborge on your team? And I said, no. He goes, listen, if you have Angel up in the air healing you, and then Torborge throws some armor down your way before you rush in, he goes, Tracer is almost unstoppable. And the cool thing about Tracer that you have these abilities, Shift is to blink forward 3 times. It's on a very short cooldown, 5 to 6 second cooldown, whereas your E is your feedback, which means that you go backwards a certain amount of feet. But the cool thing is you run and take damage, and say you started at 75% health, you run in to go down to 10%. As you feedback, you'll feedback all the way back to where you were, but you'll also go back to 75% health, which is a really cool thing. So there's a lot more synergy here than what you realize.
It's like your mage's, what was it, Alter Time?
You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely sick game. Again, it's all about synergy. That's the way the game is kind of designed. But the other cool thing about how the game is designed is that every time you die and you respawn, you're allowed to switch characters. So this means that you're going to be able to choose different characters to play all throughout the matchups. So say you're on offense, you really need to push through these guys with the turrets, and you want to get a couple of quick guys in there to get behind them, because that's where they take the most amount of damage. You can all switch to a bunch of quick, fast characters and then switch back into your more aggressive style or more defensive style. So you need to switch and change depending on what the other team is doing, which is amazing. It forces good players to be proficient with several different people to ensure success. So absolutely, absolutely amazing game. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. And I'm sure we'll be doing some more coverage with it for BlizzPro. Yeah. BlizzPro already does have their site up, overwatch.blizzpro.com, if you want to check out some of the articles over there. And I've actually coined Overwatch Weekly, which is on Twitter, which would be potentially a future podcast for Overwatch for BlizzPro. So
no, it will be a future podcast for Blizzard. It will be.
Well, I gotta iron out all the details, so I don't want to say anything for sure, but there you go.
Yeah, guaranteed. If you won't do it, I will.
Yeah, it's great though. It's totally worth checking out.
And I think if you want a real sense of how the game plays, there was that video they showed with the developers like versing each other, and they did the shoutcast of it. That really gets you into the play, and you get to feel that. So watch that. If you don't watch anything else of the the fluffy animation stuff, watch that, and you'll be like, oh, I get the sense of this game out of that.
So the next thing we want to hit up here is Hearthstone Goblins versus Gnomes. Big announcement there. It is going to be released next month at some point. So there was definitely a lot of hype around the Hearthstone expansion, the Hearthstone tournament. Even though it showed like there's a lot of people there on TV, actually there really wasn't. Maybe the first 5-6 rows were full, but after that, I mean, it was pretty sparse. So interesting to see that last year Hearthstone was kind of the big thing, and then this year Hearthstone really took a dive in terms of audience, live audience. Now, when it came down to the absolute finals with Firebat, it was quite full, and there was only standing room. So it seems like people people just only cared about really towards the end. And a big congratulations goes out to Firebat, an actual American that won. And I love the thing he did at the end there, where he's like, listen, man, he's like, don't let these pros push you around. Don't let them make you reschedule your matches, and don't make them feel like you're inferior just because you're simply not known. He's like, if you want something, go out and achieve it. And that was really awesome for him to say, to really stick it to those pros out there that try to push the little people around just because they're not a somebody yet. So good for him, man. I thought that was really cool. So, Matt, initial thoughts, Hearthstone, Goblins versus Gnomes. What are you thinking?
My poor wallet is going to hate me after this expansion comes out. I think I'm going to try to make a run at Season 2, but we'll see. BlizzPro actually has a couple of pages right now with some spoiler cards, and we'll keep doing our best to try to compile all the new cards and new information into one page as we get closer to the launch date of the expansion. Initial thoughts. Pretty solid. This was kind of a theme that was teased a few weeks ago. I remember some of the major Hearthstone sites got little blue postcards or something in the mail, which featured gears and gizmos and other machines. So it was kind of teasing and hinting towards a mech machine-based expansion, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I can't, I'm looking forward to this one because maybe it'll shake up the meta a lot. Over 100 cards. It's going to be great to see what kind of new decks and new themes will be coming out of this expansion.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Yeah, totally. And those, I mean, the cards, that was my only sort of thing with this cards. I love the theme because it's like, and they really played up the goblins and gnomes and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I worry about some of the cards that they showed were like, here's this random thing that could happen or could put buffs or debuffs on like all of the minions out there. And you're like, oh, geez, that's not good. And so people are going to be like, oh, I lost this match to a lucker, you know. I don't know. They'll balance that out and figure that stuff out. But
take you on a gambler, eh, Will?
And I want to know that I'm going to win with whatever.
I definitely agree with you. Well, there are a lot of cards with the word random in it, and even like that. I'm not sure if you saw the card, but it's the V07TR0N card.
Voltron.
Yeah, Voltron card. So what that is that it's going to be, there's a card that you can play before that. If you can throw 3 mech units on your side of the board, it will spawn this card, which is a 4/8. Technically, it's an 8-cost card, but it is a 4-attack, 8-health card that has Mega Wind Fury that can attack 4 times in one turn. So that's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm excited to see. Yeah, but I'm excited to see how the pros use these, how the meta kind of turns out. There's got to be ways to control these random effects. I mean, Blizzard hasn't released all the cards yet, so it's going to be interesting to see that. How the meta is going to shift with all these, but I'm sure that the best is yet to come with these cards. So far, very, very, very excited about the future of Hearthstone. Moving on to what we talk about, World of Warcraft. Ironically enough, there's like zero to talk about. Like, oh guys, this is a World of Warcraft podcast. Like, you need to talk about Warcraft. It's like, no, man, there is nothing to talk about. If you really want to talk about some stuff, you wait another 35 hours and the game will be released. So, but we'll talk about a couple of things. I mean, do you guys have anything you want to share, Matt? Do you want anything?
It's just no news this year. I can understand that since the expansion's out in almost another.
It's about 35 hours.
A little over a day, yeah. So I'm assuming, and it's close to being released, so they didn't want to overshadow it or whatever. We'll probably see a major announcement for it next year, 2015 BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get to learn what Eye of Ashara's is, so I still have that.
Yeah.
Still have that to figure out.
At least we know it's not a Hearthstone expansion.
Well, yeah, exactly. We know that. We eliminated that. The only thing I took out of Warcraft, again, probably worst one ever for Warcraft specifically, but no, it's cool.
10 years of Warcraft, we're not going to talk about shit about Warcraft.
No, it's fine. No, I liked the questions in the Q&A. I always like what people's come up with, and the number one question was, why can't we cook bacon? Yes, we need to have bacon cooking.
Dude, I talked to that guy, World of Podcast, and I said something about the bacon picture because there was like a green screen, you could choose bacon, and I said kind of like off the cuff remark about bacon, and he got really upset at me.
Yep.
I was like, bro, God.
Don't mess with people's bacon. Then the other one I liked was talking about getting add-ons and settings stored in the cloud. So that's really cool. So you log into the game from wherever you're at. Your add-ons and your bars are all set up. Your raid frames are where you want them. Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. That'd be great.
Really cool.
And then minor thing was one-click milling and prospecting. So just like you can smelt like 10,000 ore at one time, they want to be able to do that for milling and prospecting. So yeah, they should have done that years ago.
I agree.
Priorities, man.
Yeah, Warcraft definitely took a backseat to this year's BlizzCon. But to be fair, there were tons of news about Warlords over the past month. So it's really hard to complain about the lack of it at BlizzCon. But at least we have Warlords coming out.
Wait, in chat, I forgot about the documentary. Any comments on that?
Yeah, so this was actually really cool. The Looking for Group documentary that was made by Blizzard was a bunch of people sent in their like personal videos so they could try to be featured in there. And Twiz from BlizzPro was actually on there. He's from the Hearthstone Power Hour, formerly Twizcast. And the whole reason why I have a podcast was because of that guy. So it was really awesome to see him on there. And then Angry Orc, who is also a big BlizzPro person at formerly with Twizcast, was on there as well. And then you can even see JR and Heather, who are the big wigs of BlizzPro, in the background of some of those shots as well. So that was really cool. The whole Looking for Group thing is definitely centered. I mean, this whole BlizzCon was centered around community and friendship and warm feelings and high fives and whatever. And this
don't say that word.
Katie said she's going to say it in chat, so I'm
Yeah,
going to leave it
on
up to her. But this definitely was, they hit the nail on the head. It was a great, great little documentary. Absolutely amazing. Huge success in my opinion. And it totally hit home with me because I have been playing the game for 10 years. So, Matt, what about you?
Emotional.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a very emotional documentary. Lots of players and personalities in the community were definitely featured in it. So I think it's kind of a good way to kind of introduce people who may not really understand the whole gaming community thing, or why we do the stuff that we do, why we play these games or whatever. So it's kind of a good way to kind of bridge that gap between someone who isn't as familiar with Blizzard and their franchises, and yeah, maybe even possibly get them hooked and engaged into these universes.
Well,
yeah.
Damn it, Katie!
I liked it. Katie got you on the feels.
Dude, everyone's just gonna be like all the feels the whole time.
Yes,
Just spam the
yes.
chat, all the feels. That will be so happy.
Perfect.
No,
I really liked it because I'm in a similar industry to Blizzard in terms of software development stuff. So getting to see some of that behind the scenes of building the games and all that kind of stuff, I like that kind of stuff and how they progressed and all that. I've heard many of the stories and whatnot, but it pulled it together really well. It was really well done.
So moving forward, StarCraft II, definitely a lot to talk about there. Matt and I actually sat in on a couple of the matches at one point because between our hectic schedules of running back and forth between people to whatever else we had to do. So, Matt, experiences, Legacy of the Void. What are you thinking here?
Oh, many new units and updates. Now, to be fair, I'm not the ultimate StarCraft II guy. We have other people on, BlizzPro for that, which you can check out later on. Archon mode, 2 players to control a base. Nice. So this must be what it's like to be a pro. You work with someone else who controls, maybe the army, and you got someone like myself who's more worried about the economy and base development. Second thing, automated tournaments where players can sign up daily. I want to see this feature in Hearthstone myself personally.
Yes.
All right, like that'd be awesome. So now the technology's there. Maybe the Hearthstone team can kind of take a page from the StarCraft fellows there.
We have the technology.
Right. Third thing, Allied Commander. This is what, co-op versus AI.
Yes.
It's a cool expanded campaign mission mode where 2 players can kind of do. It's like kind of like a PvE mode, I suppose, for 2 players.
You take on the roles of powerful commanders of the StarCraft saga.
Right, yeah. And another big thing, this one kind of surprised me, the Lurker is back. One of the most iconic Zerg units from Brood War.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's some of the major news and announcements out of there. Now, Sean, you and I, we actually watched some of the finals matches. We didn't watch the grand finals, but we managed to watch some of the final, the bracket play. That was amazing. The screen borders changed with each map, and you were telling me a story actually earlier about a little anecdote by the production crew as they were working on getting the stage and stuff set up. I think you mentioned something like 22 pounds of, was it plywood or whatever?
22,000 pounds of
22,000 pounds.
So I have this.
That's is that 20 tons?
That's a lot. So I have this the screenshot put up right now on the stream, and this is actually out of Matt's phone, and you can see how just massive this screen is. It was made out of plywood. And I was talking to one of the BlizzCon staff members, and he said, listen, we hooked this thing up to the roof of the arena, and it was literally collapsing the entire roof. The roof was coming down quite literally. So you can see, I mean, it was crazy. So you can't really, as you can notice, you can't really see anything behind this. It's all kind of blacked out. And actually what they did was they took 2 industrial sized cranes and they held it up that way. Like I would imagine in the middle they still attached it to the ceiling, but on the sides they use cranes to make sure it was
brace the
So it was pretty neat, man. It was definitely some cutting edge. Like this is kind of like the Omeka of esports staging areas, if so to speak. So, but it was definitely really awesome.
You can tell, like, the board. You can kind of look at the bottom there. You can see little the borders and the special effects. Like that stuff was actually changing from map to map. So you would see, maybe a more machine theme, and then you'd see something else with a different theme when they changed to a different map. So it was absolutely dynamic. A lot of this stuff was all projected. It was great stuff. So I think it's almost like a first time for him. So I'm wondering, next year during the actual grand finals itself, it did look a little bit more packed than usual. And I think it was almost getting to the point where it was standing room. So I'm thinking, you guys expand to the Staples Center next year, or like what's the deal?
I don't know.
No?
I'm not really
Right?
sure. I think that maybe they'll keep it as is or now. Here's an interesting tidbit of information. Maybe you guys know this, and it's something we actually haven't talked about on the podcast. So I'm going to hit you with this question live. But it was my understanding that people that attended the grand finals for StarCraft II are going to be handed a beta key upon leaving. Okay, they're supposed to be handed a StarCraft II Legacy of the Void beta. This was confirmed from Blizzard staff, but they never received the beta codes. So I don't know how you're supposed to go about getting this beta. Now they're just going to give it to everyone that went to BlizzCon, because you got to remember that there was just tickets for just the arena.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
they were selling those at the door too.
Right. So how are they going to differentiate between the BlizzCon ticket holders, just the ticket holders that went to the StarCraft II arena? All right, I mean, they're just going to give the beta key to everybody? Or,
Maybe, maybe
but
everyone gets one.
Blizzard
might,
hasn't
yeah.
come out and said anything yet, so that's actually something to keep an eye out for. If you did go to BlizzCon, you actually maybe get a StarCraft II Legacy of the Void beta key, courtesy of the old Blizzard Entertainment. So that's pretty cool. Will, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Well, I didn't watch too much of it, and I've not played StarCraft in a while, but I always like doing the whole co-op type battles with people. So the Archon mode and all that Allied Commander stuff, yeah, I'm down for that. And as someone mentioned in the chat, and we've said a little bit, or we hinted at, Legacy of the Void's going to be standalone, so you can just buy it. You don't have to buy the other Wings of Liberty, et cetera,
Yep.
all to get it. So that's pretty nice.
The dog was very excited about that. It's like, yeah, Legacy of the
Yes,
Void.
Legacy of the Void.
Nice. The cool thing about the Legacy of the Void is that, I was decent at StarCraft. I was like a high level gold player, so I'm not like great, but I was decent. I can play StarCraft. So don't just kind of take my advice with a grain of salt, but there was a lot of really cool items, of different units coming to the game. The Lurker, like Matt mentioned earlier, which is something from the original StarCraft that absolutely decimate ground units. I remember getting owned by those things all the time. My buddy would always just absolutely murder me with them. But some other cool things are coming in too as well. The Protoss is now getting a new field weapon called the Disruptor, which can use massive energy spikes to absolutely wipe through ground forces, which is pretty awesome. And something that I'm really excited about, because when I first started playing StarCraft, I was always a big Terran player. Now I'm a big Protoss person. Is that they have actually? It's funny because a lot of people say they have new technology in their little StarCraft world, but they've researched tactical jump, which allows their battle cruisers to teleport to any location on the battlefield. Think about that. Any location. I mean, you have an army that's running away, and you just put all your 6-7 battle cruisers in front. You're just right behind them, and you just trap them in. There's so many little cool things you could do with that. I'm super excited to see what these insanely talented players can pull off with this type of talents. So, really cool stuff. A lot of that stuff was exhibited at BlizzCon. But we really won't see it in full until, of course, Legacy of the Void does come out. Moving forward, Heroes of the Storm. Actually didn't play any Heroes of the Storm while I was there because I was too busy playing Overwatch.
For shame, buddy.
For shame on me. I shouldn't even have my own show. I am just the worst.
I know, right?
How dare I not play every game?
Some big news coming out for Heroes of the Storm. We got draft mode. Sean, you want to show our lovely watchers here, our lovely viewers, what the draft mode thing looks like?
I gotta find it. Let me find it.
Oh, well, we gotta find it
You
first.
talk, I'll find it.
So draft mode is obviously it's one of the new competitive modes that's coming out for Heroes of the Storm. It's also available in custom games, and it's going to be their main format for the ranked play. No duplicate heroes. So if I pick Vala, guess what? The other team cannot pick Vala. There's a pre-selection screen that kind of displays what suggestions. It suggests what heroes you might want to pick, and the starting team gets to select first, but you only get one pick. So draft mode is going to be similar to, it's like a snake draft. It's going to be similar to how most MOBAs do it this way. So team 1 gets to pick the first guy, team 2 gets to pick 2, then back to team 1 for their other 2, and back and forth with the second team getting the last pick, which obviously has its own tactical implications. Unlike other MOBA games, however, No bans for now. No bans are being planned for that. So
Because the game's perfectly balanced.
of course, it's perfectly balanced, and obviously there's a limited. And let's be real, there's also a limited number of heroes that can be selected. So there's not really much of a point in picking throwing in bans at the moment. So that's the draft mode. More details on the ranked play. The focus is going to be on teams of 5, and there's what's called a hero league where any number of players can queue. Unlike a game like League of Legends where you can solo queue or duo queue, or you take a group of 5 total players and queue into ranked play at once. Here, it doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of restriction from my understanding. The lowest rank starts at 50, with the highest being number 1, kind of similar to Hearthstone in that aspect. Your rank is based on your ELO rating with hard cutoffs. If you are a lever, you are going to be paired up with other levers. So they're introducing anti-lever mechanics in the game. So guys, finish out your game and accept your losses. If you lose, you lose. At least just try to make an effort out of it somehow. I know it's easy to get frustrated in these kinds of titles, and it's a little, nerve-wracking, especially if you're playing with people who are not listening, who are underskilled, who are just trolling, all sorts of different reasons, whatever you want to call it. Just tough it out, honestly. It'll be better for you in the long run.
Tough it out.
Yeah. At BlizzCon, we found out that there are some new heroes that are being introduced for sure. Jaina, Thrall, Lost Vikings, all 3 playable heroes at the BlizzCon demo. Jaina is a ranged caster assassin, relying heavily on frost spells, Frost Nova, Blizzard, that sort of thing. You got Thrall with his elemental abilities, and Lost Vikings. I did not see that one coming either. Lost Vikings is actually more of an interesting hero where it involves use of controlling each of the 3 individual Vikings. I'm trying to remember the names right now. You got Olaf, Balrog. I don't remember the third guy's name. I always forget his name.
I don't know this either.
I tap out. I don't know Balrog. I know Olaf.
Someone in chat's gonna Google it and then make
Someone's
fun of us for
gonna,
forever.
I'll wait for it. Someone out there is smarter than I am.
You guys aren't fans.
Wait 30 seconds.
Posers.
But aside from that, we found out in their subsequent heroes panels that not only are those 3 available, but they're working on a couple more Diablo heroes as well. You've got Sylvanas, not a Diablo hero, obviously, but famous iconic bosses like the Skeleton King, the Butcher, and the Diablo 3 class, the Crusader. Like, these are all heroes that are also being worked on, and hopefully we'll see them sometime before the year ends. Now, I don't know about you right now, but Heroes currently has 4 maps on rotation, and it's kind of getting a little stale. So the Heroes team is rolling out 3 completely new battlegrounds for competition for play. Sky Temple, new map, a floating city, very bright, kind of like ancient Egypt or Oldham in WoW. Really. So that's going to be kind of cool. It seems like it's a smaller map, just 2 lanes, and we've also got the Tomb of the Spider Queen. Spiders, and more spiders, really. I think Anubarak would love this place. A little bit more dark, a little more, kind of shady and all that stuff. Yeah, so there's a concept of the Sky Temple up on the stream right now.
This is like the worst picture of it because it's like all
white.
I know.
I couldn't find a bigger one.
I'm like using my cursor to point to things.
We can't take pictures at BlizzCon, right? Because they kick us out and all that stuff. So that's the best one I could do. Anyways, there's also a Diablo-themed battleground that's being worked on. And the concept here is it's going to pit the legions of, like, the angels of heaven versus the armies of hell, right? It's not playable yet. It's still work in progress, and it's being conceptualized and all that. But man, from the art that they were showing, it looks great because you got one side of the map that's all regal and just like lights everywhere and all high and mighty, and you get the other half which is all dark and fiery and all the smoke and demons pouring out everywhere. So it's a great battle between like heaven and hell. So
it did look really cool. It was kind of like Act 4.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's kind of and a bit of inspiration there. So I cannot despite, even though the highlight of BlizzCon was Overwatch, Heroes definitely got some big news and highlights out as well.
Yeah, definitely got some love there. Will, impressions?
Yeah, and I mean, I also, this is one of those tidbits I got from the whole in-between coverage between panels and stuff. So they talked a little bit more about how the Lost Vikings and how they're played. So as Matt said, they're the 3 little micro heroes, I guess what they were calling it. And they even have like their own respawn. So if you've got 2 of them, over here and 1 down here, and this one guy dies, it's not like you lose your whole set of heroes. You're still messing around with the two, waiting for the one to respawn. So they described it as like the hero for the ultimate multitasker, the ultimate just, I've got everything covered in all these different little places. And so if you can handle that playstyle, you know, you're ready for it. They've got you covered. And of course, I like their one move that they showed like really briefly, where they're all like rowing in that Viking ship. That was like
really cool.
Hilarious and awesome. It was like, yes, I want to do that.
Really cool.
I'll be rowing my boat through the lane. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, lots of cool stuff with the Lost Vikings. Those look neat.
So something that we want to hit on here too is the Warcraft movie itself.
Oh, dude.
And I get to lead this one off. So the release date is set for March 13th, 2016. And all I can say is holy Santa Claus shit. The CGI is going to blow your friggin' mind. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, if you're at BlizzCon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you weren't at BlizzCon, you just wait, man. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind this movie is going to be a huge success, but not only for us who lived and breathed inside of Azeroth, but for the people that have never been here, all the new faces being introduced to Warcraft and the world of Azeroth for the first time. I can't remember who said it, but they nailed it on the head when a person was described to describe the Warcraft movie itself. They're like, what's it similar to? And they said it was like watching Avatar and Lord of the Rings at the exact same time. And let's be honest, I mean, who wouldn't love that? That's like the greatest thing in the world. So it was pretty phenomenal. Super looking forward to that. Matt, I know you're probably...
Oh, dude, the trailer was so cool. Like, Stormwind looks amazing in cinematic form. Like, I wish we had screens and stills to show you guys, because it's absolutely unbelievable. Like, you can recognize it, but it's like a totally rebooted, updated version of it. It's like it got the industrial light and magic treatment or whatever it is. I can't even describe it. Like, it was... The camera was kind of panning around the city. You could see the statues. You could see the two towers that kind of surround the front gates of Stormwind. You could see the castle off to the side and all that stuff.
Stormwind too, before Deathwing.
Yeah.
It's all like the way it used to be.
Exactly. Yeah. This is actually not current new Stormwind. This is old Stormwind, since the premise of the movie is around the first Warcraft game, that sort of thing, with Lothar and Durotan and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But and yeah, they actually had a little tidbit at the end there where they displayed the amount of detail on Durotan's face, and you could tell that they did a lot of work just for the dude's face. You could tell every emotion that he was expressing. Notice I'm not using that word. And every tear, every like twitch, like wow. I can see why this movie needs another 2 years worth of post before it's finally done. March 13th, and I actually did a quick look up on movies around that time. Batman vs. Superman comes out 2 weeks after that, and you've got Deadpool a couple weeks before Warcraft. So they picked a nice time to put it, and hopefully there's nothing else competing with Warcraft that weekend. Because, man, you're going to want to focus your attention on that.
Nothing is going to compete with that movie, dude. Nothing is. They are really... Well, I mean, the reason why they moved it forward is because of Star Wars. So,
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I mean, even
Star Wars.
Star Wars is big when Warcraft's like, nah, man, we're gonna move this.
Yeah,
you win, dude. You can go ahead first, no problem.
Yeah, for real. And like, I mean, how long was the trailer itself? What was like the whole experience?
It was like maybe like 2 minutes total, but it was like broken up between, hey, here's the trailer, and then Duncan Jones was like, oh, hey, I want to give you kind of a sneak peek of the actual CGI in the movie, and it showed Durotan and his wife. And it showed him kind of in his tent, all, just kind of worn down and sad. So,
do you remember that Warcraft III trailer cinematic with the Alliance forces fighting the Horde forces? The Infernals come in.
Yeah.
Think about that with current updated, movie tech graphics and given the IMAX. It's kind of like that. You got these two massive armies just going toe-to-toe and crashing against each other. It's ridiculous.
Like, for you guys that have seen it, like, you understand, but, like, the look on Durotan's face, like, it's immediate. Like, no joke, the clip is maybe 15 seconds long, but you feel it. I mean, immediately. It is like, whoa, dude. Just the facial expressions alone are just... They don't even need a script. They just don't. Nice, it's that good.
And there really seems to be a lot of passion for the whole thing from the people who are up there. I mean, I know Hollywood has a lot of fake stuff out there, so to speak, and you never know who's just pandering to the fans or something. But I didn't even, at least watching the panels and everything and people talking about it, I didn't get that sense that there was any sort of fakeness. People were just really passionate about the movie and really wanted to get it right. So I'm fine with it coming out in a couple of years, but it's a lot of hype, a lot of good hype. Hype train.
Hype train.
So, and actually, it is 8:45 on the dot, so perfect timing for that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our shouts real quick, and then we are going to sign off for the night because I think Matt has to raid.
Last raid.
I have to raid too.
It's of Pandaria. Hallelujah, guys, we've made it.
We made it. One more.
I'm raiding tonight too.
Me?
What?
I'm
raiding.
I know you're raiding. I know Matt's raiding.
Oh yeah.
I have to go finish my dinner. That's my job. finish drinking this bottle of Riesling. That's what I'm tasked with today. So Will, shout outs.
Yes. I do have a shout out to my buddy Priestley, who's a guy I hang out with a bunch. And he had the brilliant idea of having me go on my item level 470 DK in order to get a two-handed BOA weapon from Garrosh so that my Pally can actually level with that. So thanks, man, for the idea and for the carry, because, yeah. Oh, and let's get the hashtag, no sleep till 100 trending. Get that on Twitter so we can, no sleep until you're level 100. Matt, you're not sleeping, right?
I'm not sleeping. I got
All
this.
Right. Support the movement.
Matt, do you have any shout outs?
Oh, shout out to the Blizzard, the organizers, the entire BlizzCon crew, everybody I met, the community, everyone that was there at BlizzCon, everyone that was tuning in and watching BlizzCon. Oh, man. If you guys don't make it out next year, you guys got to find a way to make it happen. Holy crap. You guys have got to go to BlizzCon. I think it's something that every player at some point should experience once in their lives.
I agree with that. I'm going to give a big shout out to Ask Mr. Robot Crew for the amazing swag they gave out to the panelists for World of the Podcast. This is my World of the Podcast shirt that I'm wearing right now. Staff shirt. I was on one of the panels there, and you can check it out at World of the Podcast on YouTube. I was maybe 3/4 through or so of the video. You can find me there. I'm the very small person compared to two giant people, so it's hard to miss me. Also,
literally.
Yeah, literally. But they gave us some really awesome swag. They gave us some posters and a handwritten card and the whole deal, so it was really, really cool of them. Also, big shout out to Leah in chat. I told you I was going to give you a big shout out, so here it is. So finally tracked me down at Blizzard to get a picture with Matt and I, so that was really cool, so thank you so much for that.
We'd love to do pictures, guys. If you come on next, we'll totally take pictures with you.
It was definitely an all-day process to get this picture, so that's why it's worth the shout out. Also, a big shout out to all the fans of the podcast, old and new. Definitely a lot of people had a lot of encouraging words to say about the cast, and really, you guys have no idea how much that means to me and everyone else on the show. We always appreciate the support, no matter where it comes from and no matter what kind of form, whether it's a tweet, an email, or anything, or just being here in the chat room. We really, really love to see all you guys. So thank you, really, from the bottom of our hearts. You make us do something we're really passionate about, and I'm glad we can share it with you. So that's going to do it for episode 39 of The Edge. Head over to blizzpro.com for the show notes on this episode, or leave us a comment on the show. If you'd like to contact us and leave us your feedback, you can email us at edge@blizzpro.com. Please also don't forget to follow the shows on Twitter. Edge_BlizzProTV is the main account. You can find our individual accounts below under our beautiful faces. Also, don't forget that I'm going to be giving away some stuff pretty soon, so you better be following our Twitter accounts to figure out how you can win some exclusive BlizzCon swag. But until then, we will see you guys next week, hopefully with a little extra person here helping us out too. So we'll see.
After we storm the dark portal again.
We'll see you on the other side, guys. Peace.